couple of home wins, headed on the road early week, heading to Stanford first, where coming off that weekend where it's the team going into big weekend on the road, next four on the road.
Yeah, I thought we did a lot of really exciting things this past weekend. I think our offense just continues to improve, and we're getting a lot of people involved, and our numbers are good. I think we're tinkering around with some of our rotations and figuring out better passing rotations for us. I thought that looked really good on Sunday against Colorado, and see if we can continue with that. It's asking Georgia and Gabby to do a little bit more in a two-person service receive, but they're two of the best passers in the country, so I think we go for it. And I thought that was a good change defensively. We're holding teams to a really low number, and our serving, that was the best we've served against Colorado. And so if we can take some of that confidence moving forward, we're gonna be tough.
How much of what you've done the last couple of weekends was in any way to set yourself up for and have answers for matches like this? Like, how much experimenting were you doing at the time that maybe you didn't even tell your own team that, like, hey, we're experimenting for 2 weeks from now? Or
yeah, I mean, there's things that I want us to get to, for the end of the year, and sometimes you get there or sometimes you don't, and then you have to adjust, based upon what the results look like. So I think we've kind of gotten to the point where we kind of need to settle in on this is who we are. I feel like it was about this time last year too, and you just kind of get into this is what we're going to be, and we got to figure out how to do it from here. But you have enough research and data now at this point where you kind of know who you are. So I do feel like we're following into, like, here's what our rotations look like. Here's the best set combination or best play combination or blocking scheme or things like that for us, and here's maybe where we don't do as well. So again, depending upon who you're playing, there's different things you got to be able to do, but overall I feel like we're really starting to understand who we are.
Coaching always looks for motivation. You have a pretty veteran team at the end of a long weekend.
Yeah.
When the stakes are what they are, what will your message be on Thursday before this one? Because, on one hand, we talked about, could there have been a trap on Sunday? Could have been things to distract. Clearly they weren't.
Right.
All right, so how do you try to say, all right, well, here's the opportunity. If you're going to get some of the goals, but that's it. Even if you don't, there is still a tomorrow and a postseason and viability.
I think, last year being an older group, this year being an older group, I trust them, one way or the other. Like, I think that they're, I think they're going to be ready to go. And I always feel like if I have to talk about motivating them for effort or, to be focused in, then we're not very serious about having big goals. So I'm probably not as much of a rah-rah guy as maybe what I should be. I don't know. But I just feel like we know what's at stake. And I don't think there's anything I need to say to get them ready for Stanford. I think they know, what that match means. Again, we're, with goals of winning a Pac-12 championship, it's a must win. If you want to be a top 4 seed, possibly a must win, things like that. And then just, from a coaching perspective, I just want to see us continue to get better. And I saw that this past week, and I've seen it the last few weekends, and that's been really encouraging for me. I've been in a good mood because I see us learning and growing. And we need to continue to do that with the last few weeks of our season before we're ready for postseason.
Unbeaten on the road this season. Why has this team been so successful away from Matthew Knight?
It's a good question. I mean, again, we were undefeated at home last year. Not that we were bad on the road, but just home. I felt like we were pretty unstoppable on the road. Now I feel similar. Maybe it's because we just feel really bonded on the road. We had a lot of experience being on the road in our non-conference. We were gone the whole time, and so maybe we just got really comfortable with that. But I do see us be really tough on the road. We don't get bothered by much when we're out there. And like I said, we really come together really well on the road. And we've been in some really tough environments already, and Thursday will be no exception. So we're going to need to bring our A game, and hopefully the road just keeps perking us up for that.
When you went back and watched the film from that Stanford game, anything really kind of stick out? Any points of emphasis that you want to kind of fix before Thursday?
Yeah, there's a few things we want to do scheme-wise that we didn't execute very well. And so again, when you watch it on film and we're like, okay, see, that's something we're going to have to clean up or do better. So I think the team saw that today, and it's something that we can change. I think maybe some of our serving targets in certain rotations we should make an adjustment on. So just a couple small things like that. But overall, we had a lot of close misses on offense. I think you got to be encouraged by that. We can clean that up a little bit more. But then defensively, there's a couple adjustments we can make that hopefully make it a little harder for them.
Last thing for me, non-volleyball related question, but I asked Lanning this yesterday. Crossover season starting now with basketball. What's your relationship like with some of the other coaches here, and any lessons that you've taken from anyone in particular that sticks out?
I mean, I feel just super lucky to be here. Again, I share a building with Altman and Graves. It's pretty great company to be around. And I think we all just encourage each other all the time. We're watching each other. We text each other. Dana's not big for social media, but but he still texts, which I feel really cool when he sends me a text. That's a big deal. And Kelly, we talk a lot, and all the staffs do. Very encouraging. With Dan and I having the same season, I feel like we're both in grind season at the same time. But definitely, I feel like the whole coaching staff is, very much has each other's backs and tries to uplift each other the best we can. And it's just such a great group to be around. I feel like I can learn a lot. Yeah.
What's led to some of the improvement in serving where, like, Kate was already good, but I
Yeah.
think she's probably had a better this past weekend. Mimi was particularly good this
Yeah.
past weekend. What is it about that's kind of ticked up the serving a little bit?
I feel like with us, it's just when we try to do too much. And I don't know if and maybe at home, maybe that's the difference of home and the road. Maybe we can relax a little bit more on the road and not try to go for too much. And at home, we're trying to be so perfect. Maybe that's part of it, going back to your question. But I think we're really good athletes and we have really good feel for the game. So just being more relaxed and, just going out and letting our bodies and our experience do the work. And I feel like with Kate likes big moments. It was really impressive for a freshman. But she'll go out there in the toughest situations and she'll put just a bullet on somebody. And it's really neat to see. And, I think her teammates, they really take that in and she encourages other people to do the same.
There's some Big Ten related just because like they've just announced the football schedule and I imagine you guys are not far behind. What is your understanding of like what the conference schedule will look like? And do you have a preference on format where I think they're doing 20, but if they did 20 with you guys, would you be a 14-3, like double up the West Coast teams like they're talking about with basketball? Would you want to drop the 17 and just play everyone once? How do you want to handle it?
Yep. So I think what it sounds like, I don't think anything's official yet, but I think what it's sounding like they're bouncing between 18 and 20 matches. It'll probably land on 20 and it'll be, home and away with the 3 West Coast. And then we just have one with everybody else and then alternate every other year, which I think sounds right. And timing of that, I hope, hopefully by the end of the year, we'll know, have a good idea of at least what it looks like. So I think you're right. It's not too far behind.
And 18 would be everybody wants.
18 would be everybody,
Washington.
probably with Washington. Yeah, exactly. So I think both are right choices. Good, makes sense to me. So would make 2 East Coast trips, 2 Midwest trips, I would think, a year, and it's about as good as we can do.
Would you look to because you're playing Stanford Thursday, so people are making like the last one.
Yeah.
With this one, all right, it's the last of conference, but they're not going to suddenly fall off the
Right.
map.
Right.
Do they become like a? Have you talked to them about?
Yeah.
non-conference
Yeah. Kevin,
format?
Stanford coach and I, we've been talking about what we're going to do, and we would definitely like to. I mean, their travel is going to be, probably even more than us, right? So we would like to be able to get some really good regional matches in the future. So that's an easy trip for us, and same for them. So we're talking about playing each other, and we'll figure out what that looks like. But we're probably going to stay much more regional in our non-conference. Yeah. We don't want to miss that matchup in the future. It's a good one.